Hi everyone and welcome to ROG Nordic. My name is Emmanuel and I'm here to build a very special PC that we're going to give away to one lucky winner during ROG Live. ROG Live is a 2-day festival where we build PCs, talk about gaming, overclocking and all of those other things that we love. So, having a look at the PC we're building here today, it's gonna have a very special theme. I'm not completely sure what we will call this PC yet, but one thing is going to be for sure. It's going to be very, very quiet as well as still being very powerful. We have chosen not to use anything with RGB. The aesthetic is going to be very clean, using a lot of black together with a lot of Noctua colored products as well. Alright, so the chassis we're going to use is the ASUS TUF GT301, a very solid build. Using glass on the side, but we're also gonna mix things up a little bit. We're going to replace all the fans, all the RGB fans that was installed from the beginning, and replace them with the Noctua NH-A12 chassis fans. So these are very solid, very quiet, no RGB, and very specific in terms of color. We're going to install up to 5 of these to go a little bit crazy with the cooling. For motherboard, we're gonna go with the ASUS ProArt C690 Creators Wi-Fi. We chose this motherboard specifically a bit throughout the aesthetics. It looks very clean, it looks very good in this build, but it also has everything you need. It has the DDR5, PCIe 5, Wi-Fi as the name entails, Ethernet 10 gigabits, and so on. So it's gonna be a very good board for this build. We're going to pair that with an Intel CPU, of course. It's going to be the Intel Core i9 12900K, so hopefully all the power that you will need. For memory, we're using 32 gigabytes of DDR5, Kingston Fury 5200 MHz. SSD, 1 terabyte M.2 PCIe Intel 670p. And for CPU cooler, of course, we're using Noctua, massive one, NH-U12A. So hopefully this will be super quiet as well. Moving on to power supply, we went with the ROG Thor 850 watts. So this, for you familiar with already, has an OLED panel on the side showing us the power usage. It's also a platinum power supply, which is going to help it be really quiet during load and during idle, of course, with using 0 dB fan. And finally, the crown jewel here is going to be the ASUS RTX 3070 Noctua OC edition. So this is a really cool graphics card that we built together with Noctua. It's a massive heatsink, and altogether the card is 4.2 slots. On top, you have 2 Noctua, also NH-A12 fans, so the same kind of fans that we're installing in the chassis. This is goes without saying, but it's a super quiet card. It's using 0 dB fan during idle, and even under load, it is really, really quiet. So this is what we're gonna build with today, and stay with me, and we're gonna see how it goes. So, moving on, I took the liberty by unboxing most of the products here, and I'm also going to give you a little bit more into detail on each of the components that goes into this build. Starting with the motherboard, we went with the ProArt series in order to find something matching our color theme. All black, no RGB, and hints of gold is what we think is going to match best in this build. The ProArt series caters to those which, of course, requires more in terms of productivity. A lot of focus goes to having more connectivity than previous generations, and as you can see on the front, we have 3 pieces of M.2 PCIe 4.0 slots, covered by quite massive heatsinks. On the back, with the pre-mounted I/O shield, you can see that we have Wi-Fi 6E, which is the latest generation of Wi-Fi, one 2.5 gigabits of Ethernet, one 10 gigabits of Ethernet, as well as Thunderbolt 4. In this board, we're going to install one Intel Core i9 12900K processor, as well as a quite massive CPU cooler by Noctua, the NF-A12. Out of the box, of course, are already the Kingston DDR5 5200 MHz memories, as well as a 1 terabyte SSD from Intel. The ROG Thor power supply features a 135mm of dual bearing fan as well as custom-made massive heatsinks by ASUS ROG. The reason we install this is in order to use 0 dB fan mode for a longer period of time. And finally, we have this massive graphics card, which is going to be our crown jewel for this build. The ASUS RTX 3070 Noctua OC edition. As you can see, this is quite like nothing we have seen before. So if you're even considering buying this, you should really have a look at the dimensions of your chassis before you do. It spans up to 4.3 slots in your build, and only the heatsinks itself is 2.3 slots. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this will perform, and also how actually quiet it will be even under heavy load. Finally, we took the liberty of changing some of the chassis, or mainly replacing the fans that were originally installed to Noctua fans. So you can see we have one on the back, we have two in the top, as well as a total of 3 fans in the front. So we're going crazy on cooling with this build. So next step is going to be have everything installed. Okay. Alright, so after a few hours of work, I am finally done with my machine. And I'm really happy with the results. This has become something truly unique with a very different color theme to anything I ever built before. I'm still not sure exactly what I would name this build, but one thing's for sure is that this is something for those who want something super powerful while still being really quiet regardless of what you're using it for. So if you want to know more about this machine, and maybe even bring it home yourself, I recommend you to tune in to ROG Live on YouTube or Twitch on December 4th to 5th on 2021.